Oh, living on a prayer. Take my hand and we'll make it, I swear. Oh, living on a prayer. Oh. Hey there, how you doing? Come on in, come on
Banks,
in.
how are you?
I'm good, man. I'd shake your hand, but, well, you know, Corona and all.
It's not safe.
No, it is not. It is not. Ugh.
Well, BB, my name's Ryan Hicks, and I'm here to interview you today about the Tracy Hammerson murder trial, and it's good to see you again.
Again, you know what? I thought I knowed you from somewhere. You was that prosecutor in that Jesus trial last year, weren't you? Yep, I knew it. But I thought you were supposed to be a girl. I mean, that reporter lady called me and said she was coming. Who were you?
Well, you know, Mr. BB, that's right. Sally was supposed to be here to do this interview this evening, but a few days ago, she was meeting with Miss Beulah Simmons over at the nursing home, and the people in the room next to her, they found out that she's got coronavirus. So she's been quarantined for the next week to 14 days, and because of that, it looks like I'm going to have to take over this story.
Well, good gracious. I tell you, that's no joke. That's some horrible news right there. You know, I don't know that reporter lady, but, you know, that Miss Beulah, she's as good as gold. That's a fine lady right there. I sure hope both of them are going to be all right. You know, that COVID-19 is, whew, that is some bad stuff right there. You know, I had to shut down every one of my shops. Every one of BB's automotive parts and live bait shops across the nation are shut down, closed.
Yeah, I saw that on the news. I mean, they're shutting down everything right now. And you know, I want to talk to you about Miss Simmons a little bit, but we'll get to that here in a few minutes. But I gotta ask you, you know, you're a fine dressed man, and I'm pretty sure you were wearing the same thing last time I saw you.
Well, not exactly. The truth is, I got about 50 of these same outfits here. So it's probably not the exact same clothes that I was wearing the last time I saw you. My publicist said that I ought to wear the same thing all the time for my brand. And when she said that, I said, well, I ain't no cow. And she said, no. It's like having an advertisement for yourself. And so, okay, I got that. And so that way, anytime somebody runs into old BB, they're going to know that it is the one true BB. But, well, just between me and you, they're talk right now that this coming Halloween, they're going to come out with a BB Banks costume for kids.
That'll probably be the hottest thing on the market. And I'll be honest with you, I got a 3-year-old who'd probably like to dress up as BB.
Well, I tell you what, if your son decides he wants to be BB for Halloween, you give me a call. I will hook you up.
Well, hey, BB, I appreciate you being a good man like that. But I got to tell you, you're rocking glasses now, too. What's up with the glasses?
Well, you know, I'm getting a little older, and so the eyes aren't what they used to be. But the truth is, that's part of my publicist thing, too. You know, her name's Jenny, by the way, sweet gal. And she said that people that wear glasses, you know, it make me look smarter and more trustworthy because people trust folks that wear glasses. So, you know, here I go wearing glasses.
Well, hey, you know, I could catch up with you all night, but you're a busy man. So if you don't mind, why don't we talk about this Hammerson trial a little bit?
Well, you know what happened. That old Tracy Hammerson guy, he came into one of my stores in Sparta, South Carolina, and you know, he went in there and started yelling for his soon-to-be ex-wife, Betty, or whatever her name was, and then he was yelling at that sweet little old girl, Tiffany Simmons, and you know, started getting real loud and hollering and whatnot, and all of a sudden, you know, Mr. James White, the manager, comes up there. He didn't know that Tracy already pulled out his .38, and you know, when he turned, he shot him twice in the gut, and you know, went down, and then he's trying to crawl away, and he shot him once in the back, and poor old Tiffany started screaming, and then Hammerson shot her in the leg and came around and busted open my cash registers, took $210 whole dollars while that poor little girl bled to death right there on the floor. It was a horrible, horrible scene.
Well, I know we've run a bunch of articles about that scene, and I don't remember seeing that you you were there when it happened, but did you ever make it to the crime scene?
Actually, I did, because it's my business. They gave me a call, and so I hopped in my personal helicopter, and I flew to Sparta that day. It didn't take but about an hour, and weather was good and whatnot. And so we went there and landed in the parking lot. Well, the police were not real thrilled when I landed in the parking lot. But I stayed out their way because God bless those men and women in blue. They're there to protect us, and, they do such a fine job. And they did a fine job then, too. And but after they were done, investigating the scene and everything, they let me go back in my store, and I saw everything. And I got to tell you, I wish I hadn't. It's something I can't really erase from my mind.
So, and I remember seeing you. You were at the trial pretty much every day, if I remember correctly. Were you supposed to testify at it, or what was going on?
No, actually, I was not supposed to testify. But again, my publicist, Jenny, thought it would be a good idea for me to go and, kind of be seen supporting the family. And truth is, I kind of got interested in the whole court stuff. And I was only going to be there one day, but I ended up staying the whole time watching every single witness come in and out. It was something to behold, I'm here to tell you. It was some neat stuff.
It is. I spent many years doing it. But BB, this publicist year sounds like quite a woman. What's up with the publicist? You didn't have a publicist last year.
Well, it's actually because of that trial that I got a publicist. Because you asked me all those questions and you had all that information about, how much money I had and that I'm, a billionaire and stuff. And then you told the world that I only gave $325 to the church. And so old BB kind of walked away with a black eye from that, and I wasn't looking so good. And, the sales in my store started dropping because of it. And so my buddy Jimmy, he told me about these publicists that help these NFL players out, the ones that go around beating up on people and stuff. And so, to make them look better. And so I went out and I hired me one of them. And, it's helped a lot because, I mean, I knew that things would pass, but, they have, especially with her help, and the sales have picked right back up.
Well, BB, I got to be honest with you. After I called you as a witness last year, I kind of researched you some more, and I've been following your story. And it sounds like you've made some changes here in your life. And is that a publicity thing, or you got to tell me what's going on?
Well, no, it's not really a publicity thing. I just made these changes in my life because it was the right thing to do. It wasn't your trial that changed me, but it was a trial. It was the Hammerson trial that changed me. But no, I mean, working with Jenny, she wanted me to do some things like that.
Well, let's talk about it though, because I like I said, I've researched and I've come to find out that since some of these changes you've made, you've paid off your congregation's entire debt, and based on what I found, that's about $2.5 million. But let's be honest, though, that's not all of it, because I think you started about a $5 million endowment. Mm-hmm. And then, we talked a lot about your auto part and live bait shop, and it's, become really, really well known here in the South. And you gave all those employees a pretty big raise, didn't you? And that's not the only thing you did, because then I heard you actually started a scholarship fund for your employees.
That's all true, yes.
Yep. And so, is that a publicity stunt? Is that the publicist, or are you doing this because the publicist told you to? Or, you said it yourself, your stores took a pretty big hit after all that, greediness that came out in the newspapers following the trial last year. You weren't the most popular guy.
Now you're starting to sound like a lawyer that I know, right?
Well, we had to get all those records subpoenaed.
Well, I got to be honest with you. It doesn't have anything to do with that trial or my publicist because, in fact, when my publicist came on, she wanted me to immediately, she wanted me to buy a hospital or, something like that for $50 million. And, I really wasn't hearing that yet. I mean, so instead I just did a bunch of appearances, like at NASCAR events and parades and things like that because I wasn't ready to give and be generous at that point.
So you weren't ready for that, but ready for what? I guess I don't understand.
Well, I had a whole lot of money, and truth is, I didn't really think that giving to other folks would really, wouldn't be as much fun, as buying a sweet car or a new custom-made gun or get me one of those big old custom-made fishing boats. Have you seen those?
Them fishing boats are sweet. I got some lawyer friends that got one, and my goodness, they are awesome.
I'll bet you do. Yeah, and so I thought that wasn't nearly as much, wouldn't be fun to give away all my stuff. And so, I just was fine with the clothes and the public appearance and stuff, but I wasn't about to start giving my stuff away. I mean, and so, no, it really wasn't because of her that did it. It was really, it was because of Miss Beulah.
So it sounds like the trial that you were witnessing kind of started it, but that wasn't really what caused all this change.
No. So I was at that trial, right, and I was watching, the Hammerson trial, and I was watching every day, and I got to tell you, I was glued into those forensic sciences and the psychologists, because, they were saying he was crazy, but we knew he wasn't crazy. He was just jealous and whatnot. But, but saw all that, and, it was great, and then, but it was that end of it that really just blew me away.
Miss Beulah's testimony? Tell me about it. You heard it?
I did. Well, Miss Beulah gets up on the stand there and she starts talking. And, she was saying how her little grandbaby was taken away from her. And, there wasn't a dry eye in the house. It was so sad. And so, she was going on and on about that. And man, the jury, she had them in the palm of her hand, I'm here to tell you. And all of a sudden, I fully thought that she was going to say, you needed to fry that sucker. But you know what she did? She turned to him and she actually begged them to save his life. And then she said that she forgave him, and she forgave him because of Jesus Christ, because she had done some stuff in her life, and she knew that Jesus had forgiven her, and so that as a response, she felt it necessary to forgive him, even though he had killed her granddaughter.
Well, and you're a Christian, so you would have understood that, wouldn't you?
I've been a Christian my whole life, but it didn't make sense until I heard her say it right then.
Well, BB, you've led a pretty interesting life. So, I mean, as a Christian in your life, I mean, how's it affected you there?
Well, I hadn't always been an angel. Still not an angel. I like to have a good time and stuff, but, I've done a lot of bad things, I've hurt some people. I've been real selfish with my stuff along the way, and, it sort of opened my eyes to realize what Jesus Christ had done for me on the cross that day. And I tell you, it really, her words really impacted me.
Well, you started writing checks pretty soon after that, didn't you?
Well, yes. It's I called my preacher up on the phone and told him about how I was feeling and stuff. And while I was talking to him, I started writing a check. And you know what? It felt really good. It felt better than any bike I'd ever bought or any gun or any boat. It felt great. And so the next thing I know, I'm making out that endowment, and then I call my CFO up and I say, you know what? I want my employees to have, to be able to afford stuff. And then we made the scholarship fund. And do you know, I'm real proud of this, that we are considered America's best place to work?
That's a pretty big honor, especially from where you came from a couple years ago. But, BB, you've continued that trend of trying to help some people. I heard the other day that you've donated something like $50 million to research on this coronavirus pandemic.
Now, I don't know where you heard that. That really wasn't supposed to be public knowledge.
Well, you know I've got my sources.
I bet you do have your sources.
But I gotta understand. You know, you're telling me that you've made all these changes and you've donated all this money because of what Miss Beulah said on that stand.
No, it wasn't because of what Miss Beulah said that I do this. It's because of what Jesus did on that cross 2,000 years ago. You know, when he gave his life for me because of all the stuff that I did, well, you know, the least I could do is give what I have to help other people out.
And Miss Beulah, she means a lot to you too, doesn't she?
She does. Like I said, she's a sweet old gal. I try to go and see her as much as possible.
And the truth is, you pretty much pay and provide for anything she needs, don't you?
I figure that's the least I can do.
And you didn't know her before that trial.
Oh, no, sir. No, sir.
And tell me this, you know, your manager, White, that was there that day of this incident at your Sparta location, you've actually been taking care of him as well.
Well, that's really between me and Jimmy and the good Lord.
Well, that's fair, and I'll keep that private for you. But BB, I gotta thank you for answering my questions today. It's good seeing you again.
You know, but before you go, I got to ask you a question, I guess.
All right. Well, you know, I've questioned you twice now, so I guess I'll give you one question.
Well, thanks, just one. But so you were that lawyer guy that was prosecuting me last time. So how come you're a reporter now?
Well, you know, BB, I after that trial, I'm not a lawyer anymore.
Really?
Nope. You know, it just so happens that the cross didn't just change you. You know, after I convicted Jesus and I saw him die, I knew right then and there that he was the Son of God, and it changed everything for me. And I walked away.
Yeah, you know, it does that. The cross really does change everything.
It does. Well, BB, it's good seeing you.
You too, my friend. And I'd shake your hand, but, well, you know.
Elbow bumps.
There you go. Have a good one.
You too.